My name's Rakhee. I'm a self-taught cook and have a passion for developing recipes. My love affair with food began growing up in an Indian family in Kenya, where food always played a huge role. It carried on to my adult life. My husband and I have both had the good fortune of living in many different countries around the world, giving us experiences to a lot of different cuisines. We love eating out as much as cooking for friends. About 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with endometriosis. Doctors had given me a 5% chance of falling pregnant even with IVF. At which point I made critical lifestyle changes in order to reduce the related inflammation in my body. Nutrition became an integral part of my healing process. My diet changed to a non-processed, sugar-free, gluten-free, mainly plant-based, and wherever possible, organic produce. 2 years later, with the help of some amazing doctors at MedFem Fertility Clinic, I had my miracle child. These days I focus on family meals that are balanced, nutrient-dense, without sacrificing on flavour, whilst also promoting sustainability and ethical sourcing of ingredients and produce. Cooking has now become a family affair, and most evenings are spent watching cooking programs. I'm proud to say that my 6-year-old has a very healthy outlook on food and thoroughly enjoys meal times. Our move to South Africa has taken us on an awesome culinary journey. As a country, it has an abundance of amazing produce, which continues to inspire us through social media. I'm grateful to share some of these, to share our love for life and food and our experiences in South Africa. 2020 has been a strange year for most of us. COVID has come with a lot of challenges. As a family, following routine coupled with some truly amazing special family moments has been key to remaining positive and sane. For me, it has become even more imperative that a healthy mind, body and soul is key to fighting the virus. Not only from a health perspective, but also in terms of sustaining mental well-being. My daughter and husband took to learning ukulele. I ran round and round the garden. Grandad had Zoom yoga lessons. We cooked together and posted recipes. My husband focused on feeding his pet sourdough starter and making amazing breads and healthy desserts. Nala spent hours perfecting capoeira. I made meals for the community. Money raised from that went towards meals for the vulnerable. Hence for us, 2020 will be a memorable year that has made us not only stronger individually, but also as a family. I'm especially proud to represent food and nutrition on this amazing wellness platform, as I think food has played a huge role in bringing people together at a time when we've had to physically distance ourselves. Today, I will share with you how we plan our weekly family meals, our family shop, and then cook a meal that we all thoroughly enjoy. Alright folks, so it's Sunday today and we normally spend our mornings, it's a lazy morning where we plan our meals for the week. Lots of reasons to do that. First of all, obviously it's more efficient when you're out in the shops to know exactly what you're shopping for. But other than that, meal planning means you're going to eat right, more better clean eating, less likely to have cheat meals or takeaway meals. It also means that each member of the family gets involved in the meal planning. So for instance, my daughter will have a say in what she wants to eat during the week as well, which also makes her more aware of what she's eating and also enjoy the whole process of family meal times. So we're back from our shop now. Just want to talk to you about where we shop and why. I prefer shopping at places that support local farmers. We have a say here in South Africa, local is lekker. This ensures that we only buy what is seasonal. The less miles the food has travelled, the better for the environment, and also, of course, guarantees freshness. In terms of meat, chicken, dairy and eggs, we only use small farmers that source ethically. So ones that don't use any growth hormones or routine antibiotics. Vegetables, pulses, grains, we try and buy non-GMO and organic where possible. Jackson's Real Food Market is one of those places that supports local farmers and also sources ethical ingredients in produce. Another few places, one is Branston Organic Market. We've also got Braeside Butchery that has amazing good quality meat that is ethically sourced as well. We have a local company here called Real Food for Shore that delivers. They invest a lot of time in finding out where the ingredients come from and looking out for those local farmers. So that one is not only convenient but incredible produce on there as well. Right, next here's our meal plan for this coming week. We always start with thinking of a protein and then include your carbs, good fats and vegetables in there. So we're going to be making a vegan dish, which is mung, bean and spinach soup with butternut fritters and guacamole. That will probably be for Monday lunch and Tuesday lunch. Nala's actually going to be cooking our Monday and Tuesday dinner. Nala, do you want to tell us what you're going to be making?
Chicken pie.
Chicken pie, yes. So for the chicken pie, we're going to try and put in as many vegetables as we can as well. So we're going to go with leeks, mushrooms, courgettes and carrots. That's what kid doesn't like chicken pie. But what I do with the chicken pie is, like I said, pack in as many vegetables as I can in there.
And I'm gonna make it with some help, not by myself.
Okay, yes, I'll help you. All right, and then we have a kale and red cabbage slaw with a fresh raspberry vinaigrette, and our protein with that will be we've got some lovely mackerel fillets in organic virgin olive oil that we'll have with that slaw. That should take us through to Thursday, and then Wednesday and Thursday night dinner I've got a Mexican minestrone soup planned. The reason behind that is we want to try and use up as many vegetables as we can here. Carrots, peppers, courgettes. We're going to use kidney beans as the protein. We're going to put in some butternut and some spinach, and the key ingredient is the bone broth, which for us I think is amazing for gut health and also for the immunity, helps us sleep better, has all the goodness that you need. And then Friday is going to be a much more relaxed affair. So we're going to do a mushroom and kale frittata with some goat's cheese. Friday night we want a bit of a takeaway feel, so we're going to do Jamaican jerk chicken. We've got some thigh fillets for that, and we'll probably have some pineapple egg fried rice with that, and maybe some steamed green beans. So that's our meal plan for the week. Saturdays and Sundays, obviously a lot more relaxed. We may eat out, we may have a barbecue. So I've not planned as far as Saturday and Sunday, but this is the weekday plan.
Bye!
Bye! Hi, back in the kitchen now, and I'm going to do some cooking for you now. Today, like I said before, we're going to cook a vegan dish, which is mung beans and spinach soup with savoury butternut fritters and some guacamole.
So I've done some prep work to start with. So I'll just quickly run through the ingredients for the soup at first. The ingredients for the mung dal soup. Here we've got about a cup of mung beans, which I soaked in cold water for anything between 4 to 8 hours. And then cook them in a litre of boiling water for about 30 to 45 minutes. Just keep an eye on it on that for the last 15 minutes or so, because you don't want it to turn into a mush. Just the beans need to split and just have that softness to it. But don't let it cook any further. And then we've also got about 400 grams of Swiss chard, which I deveined and then blanched for about 2 minutes, cooled down in some ice water, and then blitzed. And then we've got 1 onion chopped finely, 4 cloves of garlic, and 4 centimeters of ginger, which we've turned into a paste. I've got your spices here ready to go. It's about 4 teaspoons of cumin, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. If you don't like the smokiness, you can always just use plain paprika. We've got about 10 fresh curry leaves. We actually grow them in our garden, but most supermarkets now provide have a supply of curry leaves. And then we've got about a teaspoon of mustard seeds, about 4 cloves, and a little bit of cinnamon. This will be used for the tempering. A teaspoon of coconut oil in here. And once it gets to hot, I added in the mustard seeds, the cloves, and the cinnamon. Let that sort of cook for about a minute. When you hear the first pop of a mustard seed, that's when you want to put your onions in. This part is critical, it's the tempering, so you just want to get the right amount of heat on that. So you can probably hear, I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear it? Well, anyway, the first mustard seeds are popping. So there we go, we'll get the onions in. And I'm just going to saute the onions for a few minutes. We'll put in the ginger and garlic a little after, just so that the ginger and garlic doesn't burn. I just realised I seem to be a bit serious. This isn't a normal thing that I do, videoing myself cooking. Clearly an amateur when it comes to videoing myself. I promise you I'm not normally so serious when I'm cooking. Generally we've got the radio on, there's a bit of singing and dancing happening, and yeah, we'll just have some fun with it. Yeah, you never want to cook angry, as my mum used to tell me. If you are feeling angry, acknowledge your emotions and let it out, because cooking should be a fun, enjoyable food. If you are angry, I think what would happen, you would taste it in your food. So yeah, this is one of those dishes that does take a bit of time, but as long as you prep beforehand, you should be okay. So I'd suggest maybe a Sunday night when the kids are asleep, pour yourself a glass of wine and take your time cooking this dish. The good thing is this will probably make enough food for the 3 of us anyway. It makes 2 meals. And the butternut fritters, there's always enough left over for Nala's snack box, or even just enjoying having it with a cup of tea for breakfast. So, right, so here we have it. It's been about 3 to 4 minutes since the onions have been in, so they should be softened quite nicely, sort of going translucent. And now's a good time to put your ginger and garlic paste in. There you go. Now you've got that amazing smell of the ginger and garlic. Makes my mouth water. It's what we call the Holy Trinity: onions, ginger and garlic. Can't live without it. So we're going to saute that for a bit. You want to be careful with this. You want to be careful that it doesn't burn. If you do find that it's sticking to the pot, just add a tiny bit of water to it and carry on sauteing. Right. Okay. This is a little bit naughty, but what I like to do is just add a little bit of the jalapeno pickling juice into the sauteed onions, ginger and garlic. It just picks up all the flavour from the bottom of the pan, I guess deglazes it, but obviously that sweetness of the pickling is quite nice. Lentils can have quite an earthy flavour, so just needs that little bit of sweetness, not a lot, just a balanced amount of sweetness. So in goes that pickling liquid. And now that's nice and soft and the smells are just wafting through the kitchen. I'm going to add in the cooked lentils with the liquid that you cook them in. Okay, we're probably going to add about half a litre, Nala. We're going to probably add about half a litre of water to that, because you want it a nice soupy consistency, and the beans have soaked up some of the water. So just adding in that little bit of water, and in with that goes, we've got your 4 teaspoons of cumin, got about a teaspoon of paprika or smoked paprika, whichever you prefer. Okay, we've also got just a pinch of the ground allspice and a teaspoon of salt to start with, and then we'll taste again later and add more if need be. I have just realised I've forgotten the curry leaves. But not to worry, we'll temper a little oil at the end with some garlic and add it to the soup after. So, but that would generally go in the beginning with the mustard seeds and the cloves and the cinnamon. So rather than doing a retake, we will just add it at the end. It's a blooper. These things happen. But here we go. So we're gonna leave it to simmer away now. Right, Nala, this has been simmering for about 5 minutes now. Nala's going to zest 1 lemon for me and then juice it as well. So while she's doing that, we're going to add in the spinach, the Swiss chard, which I'd blanched earlier on. So we're just going to pop that in. Now this goes at the very end. We don't need to cook it much at all, because we want to retain that lovely, beautiful greenness. Right, so that's all in.
Excuse me, Mum. Is this enough?
No, I want the whole zest. This typically would be your traditional Gujarati dish, which would be a mung dal curry. That's where my inspiration came from. I just... I guess I've mixed it up with some Mexican cuisine with the cumin and the paprika and a little bit of all ground spice. I just like the combination of that with the butternut fritters. Just then I've just added just a couple of splashes of tomato puree or passata, just to add that little bit of sweetness to the dish again. Right, so that's almost nicely done. As you can see, it's completely changed colour to like a beautiful sea of green. I get quite an earthy, when you taste it, it'll probably be quite earthy at the moment. So we're going to add the freshness of the lemon in there, and that'll just lift up the dish.
Once it's grated.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm just going to add in the curry leaves, which I forgot earlier on. So I've just heated up a bit of coconut oil in there. In goes the curry leaves and some garlic. It releases just the most amazing smell. I wish you guys could smell it. And look at the colour on that, it's just beautiful. For a few minutes, and we're just going to add some jalapenos to it. Be careful, you don't want to make it too chilly, just a few. And just adds in and make a lovely flavour to the dish. So here we go, it's nice and hot, and all we're going to do is pop that over the soup. My sous chef squeezed the lemon out of the lemon juice, sorry. So she's just going to pour that into the soup. There we go. Hey, presto. And of course, she just reminded me the lemon zest as well. Give that a quick stir, and we're good to go. So we're back in the kitchen today. Yesterday we prepped on the mung bean and Swiss chard soup. And so today we're going to make the butternut fritters. It's another savoury element to the dish. So I've got a few things already prepped beforehand. We have about 300 grams of butternut that I steamed for about 15 to 20 minutes and then mashed to a pulp, trying to avoid any lumps in there. I've also got a cup of flour here. Now you can use self-raising flour, but I prefer to use stone ground cake flour. The reason being, this one in particular, it's GMO free, unbleached, and no additives or preservatives in there, so it's just 100% wheat flour. And then we're going to spice up the butternut, the mashed butternut, with 2 teaspoons of 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of salt, and possibly, depending on the sweetness of the butternut, about 2 teaspoons of sugar. But that's totally your judgment call. If the butternut is sweet, obviously put less. So yeah, gonna add that to our mix. There's the flour. Now, if you are using the stone ground cake flour, put in half a tablespoon of baking powder, just to help give the fritters that rise that you want. So there we go. I've also got, normally the recipe would call for an egg, but since we're it's a vegan dish, I've replaced the egg with a tablespoon of chia seeds soaked in 3 tablespoons of water. Soak it for about 5 minutes still. It's giving you that kind of egg yolk consistency. So that goes in as well. And then all you want to do is just combine all the ingredients. Give it a nice mix. Make sure everything's combined. Okay, so we've got the butternut fritter batter here. What I normally do is just use sort of 2 dessert spoons to ladle it into the pan. I've got about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil in here. You want the pan on sort of a low to medium heat. The reason why you want these to cook slowly, so that the batter does cook from inside. So here we go. We're going to just spoon the batter into the hot oil. If you want, just to make sure that the oil is hot enough, just put a bit of the batter, a tiny little bit, into the oil, and if it starts to sizzle, then you know the oil's hot enough. So the size of pan I've used, I can probably do 3 of these fritters. You don't want to crowd them too much, just so that it's easier for you to flip them over when they're ready. So what I'm doing is I first spoon the first dollop of batter and then another dollop on top of that. So you're sort of layering it. There you go. So these have been cooking for about 2 minutes now. We're gonna gently use 2 forks to sort of flip over the batter and just with a little bit of squash it down. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Cook it for about 2 minutes. We're now going to start with the last element of the dish, the guacamole, the fresh creamy element. So Cavill is going to do that for me. Hi Cavill. We've got 2 avocados that we're going to remove the stone, remove the flesh, and then mash. And then we've got about 2 to 3 tablespoons of chopped onions, half a tomato that'll be chopped, a handful of coriander, got some lemon juice and a little bit of the jalapeno pickling juice. Are ready, so we're just going to plate up. I've got the soup warming up here. The butternut fritters, once I'd fried them, I then put them in a preheated oven, about 125, so low heat, and just let them cook that a little bit longer, for, say about 5 to 10 minutes, and that also keeps them nice and warm for plating. And I've also got the guacamole on the side. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video that was very much made in-house through the help of my family. Hope you enjoyed it. Also so very grateful to be part of this amazing wellness weekend. I think wellness and nutrition is something that's so important at the moment, especially with these challenging times that we're all going through. If you liked what you saw, please like my video and follow some of my social media pages, which I will share on a link below, and have a wonderful weekend.